Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I'd like to get started in this new program that we are introducing to you, Poetically Speaking, a platform for spoken words. We truly hope and pray that everybody out there will listen and understand what poetry is all about. Poetry is you. Poetry is all around you. Your ancestors, your aunts, your uncles, your brothers, sisters, but it all starts in the base of your own thinking, your creativity. So as we continue to move forward, I'd like to go ahead and read something to you, if you allow me. A Poet's Cafe. It is where artist comes alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasure, expressing tones and lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that rings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artists, expressions in painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow, on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature and sing in harmony while praying for the love of the skies and dancing with the stars like a feminine ballerina gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe Show. Poetically Speaking, hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCray. Delighted as we are. We can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform for our audience. So sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. Now, let's get started.
And we welcome you to this, our first program. And tonight what we'll be talking about poetry, the spoken word. As my brother was reading, the introduction is very poetic. As a matter of fact, when you read, I can almost hear music in the background, because I think what happens a lot of times is that people understand that poetry and song is the same thing. And as we go through the program this particular evening, hopefully we'll show people that how poetry is music and music is poetry. And the thing is, we will be here 2 nights a week. And we'll be here Thursday, and we'll be here Sunday, and we want you to join us. You can go on to Facebook, you can go on to YouTube, and just look for Poetically Speaking. And this is the place for spoken word. And as we go through our season, our first season, we're going to invite other people to come on. We're going to invite other poets to come on and to share their poetry, and we're going to talk about their poetry. Also, we're going to honor poets, some of the poets that you see behind me on that particular board. You see people that we will be spotlighting. You see people that you know and maybe some people that you don't know, but we'll make sure that you get to know these people, because I do believe that poetry never grows old. It's never dead. They had this very popular film, I don't know if you saw it. It's called The Dead Poets Society. And many of the poets that we're going to talk about are no longer with us. Mm-hmm. They can be part. I guess they can be part of the Dead Poets Society. But for me, and I think one of the beautiful things about the program, Ron, is the fact that we'll get an opportunity to introduce people who may not know of Imamu Amiri Baraka or James Baldwin or Maya Angelou or Langston Hughes or the Last Poets, or Nikki Giovanni. They may not know of these people. Some of them may have heard of them, but they don't know what they've done. And I think we have a beautiful opportunity to share this work with other people. So I don't know about you, but I'm very excited for this first program. And the theme tonight is unity. Okay. I often ask, where do we go from here? Well, my brother and I think that unity is the key. That unity is the thing that's going to bring us together, is going to keep us together, and is going to take us through these times that may be kind of rough, but you know, you have a place here. Every Thursday and Sunday, we come together and we can enjoy our thoughts poetically, and we can speak poetically, because I think, again, we have to constantly renew our minds, not get stuck in old thinking or old ideas, or to think that there's no way out for us, you know? My brother, I guess my first question to you, and that question I ask myself, is how do you feel?
You know, I feel great. And actually, I was just sitting here thinking. And one of the most important things, even as you made also an introduction, and the question is, where do we go from here? And I'd like to start here, for example.
Please, yes.
The door of opportunity awaits you.
Mm-hmm.
But the door of opportunity is in your own head. If you keep that door closed, you deny yourself freedom, which means you need to open up that door, your way of thinking, and express what's inside of you. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about how it sounds or how it's written, because that's where other artists, professional artists, since the beginning of time, struggle with the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. But it's about continuing to cultivate it. And once you cultivate it, ultimately, it comes out to a certain point where now you can say, yes, that's me, that's what I have written. So I feel great about this. It's an opportunity, no matter how you look at it. Don't be afraid, because I know there's many out there, because we're all sitting here. It was the first time for everybody.
That's right.
But this is a platform as a first time, but nevertheless, it's a continuation of our ancestors who set the tone and the stages, just like you see in the back. All the artists and singers and poets, all of them started someplace, but they took upon themselves to find freedom by stepping out there, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and what we're going to do in the coming weeks, and especially this month, I mean, as you look behind me, you see these pictures. I think what we'll do is that we'll actually spotlight these different poets. We have a segment in the program we call Poet Spotlight. Right. So in this Poet Spotlight for the next maybe 3 or 4 programs, we will look at that board, look at that backdrop, and we will talk about those particular people. Because, again, this is really what I always talk to you about rap music.
Right.
And a lot of people don't understand that rap music is poetry. I think
Absolutely.
some of them, more of them do than before. I think one of the things about poetry, and you tell people you're a poet, I think, you know, black folks are somewhat afraid of poetry. And the reason they're afraid of poetry is because they read poetry that don't relate to them.
Right.
I think what happens with all art is people want to experience it. They want to be part of it. But if it's not about your culture, if it's not about what you're about, you feel sort of locked out. You know, you feel, well, I don't understand that, because the language that they're speaking is not relatable. And that's why when I talk about rap music, especially going back in the early days, and one of my favorite poet rappers from that particular era is KRS-One, his brother from Jersey. And he had this concept that I want us to actually build upon on this platform. And the concept, and he actually did a whole album about this concept, different poems related to that. And the concept is edutainment. Edutainment. Education and entertainment. So we're here and we're proponents of edutainment. So we're coming to you this evening, this Sunday evening, and coming back on Thursday evening, and we want to actually promote the whole concept of edutainment, education and entertainment, because we want you to understand that we're here because we want to be entertaining, but we also want to be educational. We want you to give you something that you might not have had before, but to give you something in the way that you can understand, in the way that you can appreciate it. And that's why we both are poets. We both write poetry. My brother, he has some books that he's published that we're going to talk about. And when he reads his poem, I'm going to direct you to the fact that you can, if you like the poem that he read, well, you can buy his book, and we'll tell you how you can do that. But the thing is really, we just want to share our thoughts and our ideas about this creativity that I know is carrying me wide and far, and I'm sure the same thing with you, right? So it's not stagnant. It is not dead.
And there's a scripture in the Bible, Joshua 1:8, and God says, "Don't look to the left and don't look to the right, but meditate on this day and night."
Yes.
Meditate on you. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing, or somebody else has a platform, whether they're a singer or they're famous or whatever. They started someplace.
That's right.
They started in the dark.
That's right.
Light doesn't live in the darkness. It came from darkness. But as long as you keep your shades down and your doors locked, then the fact is there's no light in you. And so you don't want to sit there isolated with all these thoughts and dreams and creativities inside of you, rather than just expose yourself. Don't worry about it. Don't be afraid. Tiptoe out there, because we're here to guide you, capture you, and bring you here, because we want to extend the opportunity to everyone. Okay? Young, middle, and seasoned.
That's right.
I say seasoned because it's not about being old.
No. We don't talk
thinking.
old.
No, we ain't talking old. We're talking about seasoned.
Seasoned, yes.
Those who came through on their journey, a pathway through life, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's very important, because I think it's so funny. We in a situation where I hear some of our friends and colleagues talking about, "Well, I'm too old for this and I'm too old for that." But the thing is that the Bible always says that we should be renewing our mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so as we renew our mind, we look at different things in different ways. And again, I mean, we all have 24 hours in a day.
Right.
But how you use that time is creative.
Right.
Okay. It's Monday through Sunday. But what do you do from Monday to Sunday that is different? I don't know about you, but I have a pretty settled routine. But in that routine, there's different ways that I express myself. I'm not going to eat the same meal every day. I'm not going to wear the same clothes every day. I'm not going to watch the same TV shows every day. So in that routine, there is creativity. And one of the things, as we go toward the end of our program, I'm going to bring up a concept that really addresses creativity and those type of things, But because we are here to read poetry, to share poetry, we encourage you to reach out to us, whether it be on Facebook or other platforms that we are on, and because we want you to be involved. We want you to come. If you're a poet, come to the studio, be on the show, read your poetry. Let's discuss your poetry. And this first episode, we're going to show you how we do things here in the Poetry Cafe.
And one of the other things, too, to tie in what you just said about being stagnant.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stagnant. It doesn't matter how you feel, how you think. You might be shy. You might be stage fright. It doesn't matter. But the point is, even if you write something, put something together, you can have someone else introduce your creativity, your expression.
That's right.
But don't become stagnant, because now you become stagnant, then you're sitting there saying, well, if I should have, would have, could have, why not me? No one wants to come back in the dark to look for you hiding out. We can only find you if you at least peep your head out the window, open up the shades of your life.
That's right.
To tie into what you said, by the renewing of your mind, change the way you think. Say yes during this show, at the end of the show, until we meet again. Say, yes, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And the thing is, and I think one of the problems with many of us, we look for other people to validate us, okay? I mean, I knew at 9 years old that I wanted to be a writer, because I went to my mom and I said, I want to be a writer. And she said, go ahead, baby. And she really didn't know what she was talking about, because, again, all she knew was that her son had a desire. And it's so funny, because when I said that I wanted to be a writer, I didn't even talk about, well, how can I support myself? Or even, I didn't even ask myself if I had talent. I'm just charging. And that's one of the things that I want people to understand, that sometimes to be really creative, you have to keep the mindset of a child.
Right.
Children don't ask for permission. They just charge ahead in their creativity. And sometimes, people ask for permission to the point where if someone says that you're not a writer, you say, well, I guess I'm not a writer. Or they have this expression, which I hate, a would-be writer. A would-be writer or a would-be singer. No, either you sing or you don't sing. Either you write or you don't write. Now, we have to understand that, there's writing and there's publishing, those two different things, okay? Because you can write to your heart's content and it's okay, But when you go into publishing, well, that's a different story. And one of the things that I want to just touch on just very briefly, because I'm getting to a little later on, is the fact that you can be a writer and you can wait for somebody to put you on. You can wait for Simon and Schuster. You can wait for other these big companies and whatnot. But brothers and sisters, especially my would-be poets, my would-be writers, they're self-publishing. You can publish your own book. It requires an investment of your time and your money, but you have a finished product. And that product you can sell, you can share in different ways. So don't let that hold you back. Don't let money hold you back from realizing your dream, okay? Because, again, I see people who are being self-published. I see different people coming together, maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 or 12 people coming together. They put their monies together, and they publish an anthology. Okay, and I see more of that, and I encourage that.
You want to read something, but I also want to express something short, right quick,
Please, yes.
which is important to piggyback off what you were just saying. And it's so important. And I really kind of going back on myself,
Okay.
and that is, even when I got into writing, the feeling was there, but I was clueless about what it was I was going to write about,
see that?
or
Yeah.
even write,
Yeah, right,
even
right.
know how to write, or even where to start.
Yes,
But
yes.
the bottom line is you got to start someplace. It's just like a child. A child takes up a crayon and just dibble and dabble.
That's right.
And next you know, when they dibble dabble a lot, you got a whole picture. You see those exact same elementary, kindergarten, elementary colorings in calendars, on the magazines in schools, because kids have created what they felt, thought, and saw inside of them. They put it on paper, and the teacher says, well done.
Yes,
The
yes.
Bible says, well done, good and faithful servant.
That's right. That's
Are
right.
you going to be one of those servants to serve yourself and serve somebody else to be that well done? You want to applaud, but don't sit back in the dark and applaud somebody else.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
they came from nothing to something. And this last thing, and I want to read something to you,
Yes.
is that one thing I've learned, really noticed, American Idol. When you
Yeah,
notice
yeah.
American Idol, people take their chance,
That's right,
regardless
that's
of their
right.
talent or the
Yes.
level of their gift. They take their chance, and guess what? They're on a platform. They may be nervous inside, but they're on a platform. Not only the millions of people inside the audience, but the millions of people who are watching. And that's what's important. So even if I do not see you, but I need to know that I read some of your works, I expressed saw some of your painting or something, but don't let you be you,
That's right.
the security guard of your own isolation.
That's a good point.
Because
That's a
you
good point.
can't break out from you. And if you can't break out from you, nobody else can help you. But if you stick your head out the window and breathe a little bit and whisper, help me, somebody will be there to help you and guide you. But you have to be the first one to plant the seed. We will help cultivate that. So I would like to read something, if I may.
Please do that. Yes.
This is in reference to unity. Many parts, one body, the true value of a tight bond, a close niche working together for a common purpose. Collaboration brings a harmonious pleasure of space with various tones of the wind of the mind, where communication speaks volumes and the outcome bursts with action. Building a bridge towards one goal if only each one believes in the value of trust.
That's right.
To trust is to believe without chaos, leaving many in a dismantled state of a bewildering future without a forward path.
That's right.
One cannot see the legacy of his own from which he cometh. Unity, the earth moves in a manner hosting its surrounding parts that represent all of nature's best ingredients.
Yes.
That's you. As they shift through the tight screen meshing everything into one without the loss of many. Unity is what's missing in the state of African American culture. A departing sea, shattered earthquakes, and a stormy attitude shifting an eruption of volcano ash. Men, love as brothers, endure their sisters. There is no respect among our people as many years ago through tumultuous time that brought forth our legacy, which our ancestors laid down their lives for freedom today. Unity, what is it, and how would you define its relationship fraternally? And the OJ sang, and there's many songs out there, and it's always expressed in many different forms. The OJs said, we must have unity, but does it start today? Brother, my sister, when will we collaborate with respect and greeting one another as we were born to be?
That's right. Unity. Unity. And I really like that poem that you shared. And then one of the things, was two things I want to pick up on. One of the things you made reference to the OJs. And I really liked that group very, very much because they had a song called Message in the Music.
Absolutely.
Okay? And the thing is that there is a message in the music. And a lot of times we miss the message sometimes because we're dancing, and that's a good thing. Nothing wrong with dancing, but sometimes we want to open up our minds as well. Because if there is a message in the music, what is that message? And like my brother said, here is the message of unity. And again, the second point I want to share is that when we say unity, we don't mean uniformity. You know, we can be united, and we can have different forms of expression. I think this is what this program is all about. We'll have many poets that come on, and I tell you, every poet that comes on will express themselves in a different way. We'll all be using the English language. That's what we're here to do, and we'll be using that, but everybody will have a different viewpoint, and we'll have female poets, we'll have male poets, and we'll have people who are songwriters, who I consider poets. I mean, as quiet as it's kept, I think that Smokey Robinson is a great poet. I think he's a great poet. Of course, he's known as a singer, songwriter, and producer, but his poetic expression has always sort of got to me. And again, you know, we talked about one of his songs. We had spoke about this before, Tears of a Clown, a song that Smokey wrote.
Absolutely.
And there's a story about that song. And the story is that is based on a true story by a clown named Pagliacci. Pagliacci was a clown, and he made everybody happy, and he made everybody laugh. But behind the makeup, behind all that laughter, he would go home and he would really live a very lonely life. And so the tears of a clown where there's no one around. That's what Smokey said. And that's what we want you to understand, that, you know, we have a segment of our program here where we talk about music as poetry. We look at lyrics, and it's called Music is Lit. Music is literature. So I really thank you for sharing that particular poem, because I think it really sets the tone for the rest of the evening as we're going to go into it.
And just to sure, just the one line as you was just presenting, you know, unity, one body, many parts. We will not be here had not been for another part. This right. Radio station, right. Yes, the platform, they put together. Don't think in trying to be somebody else, okay? One body, many parts. You may have those who may paint, sing, rap, but the whole picture is many parts. Right. You can take that picture just like you see behind us. All of those artists have different talents on one platform, but you see many in one frame.
That's right.
Many parts, one body. So don't ever think that it's all about you and is nobody else cares. No, because your part is equally important to the picture, the whole frame.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing, because again, you know, the poets and our singers and our painters and our builders, you know, they need an audience. Okay, they're not doing it just for themselves. You know, it would be very selfish to write a poem or to write a song or to paint a picture and not to share it. And that's why we encourage you at home, you are looking at this, whenever you're looking at this, you know, we want you to come into the Poets Cafe that we have here and share your poetry and share your creativity. We're going to have another poem from my brother, and then we're going to move on to another part of our program. But would you please grace us with another poem?
Absolutely. This one is titled House of Poetry.
Appropriate.
And it's all about whether it's you in your room or you with few others or a gathering.
Yes.
A house of poetry. In a chocolate mocha latte cream moment, poetry comes alive, seeking the quiet noise as each swallow rolls down your throat, reminiscing each flavor as it soothes its way to comfort. Comfort the mind, comfort the soul, while writing a song without music or lyrics, without any rhythm or rhyme.
That's right.
Writing my thoughts on a page where space seems empty and only the image caught my attention. While peeping behind the closed thoughts, I tried to muffle my way to some sense of understanding as what I was writing about. Silence came on me like a howling wind amid a complex moment. The expression on my face screamed at me, woke me up from this daze, as everyone around stared, and a loud voice inside my head yelled, "Why? I am only asleep." It was my name they were calling. I heard a marching band coming down the street. When I turned around and saw clowns looking at me, laughing, my emotion twisted, my attitude to a subtle state, reminding me it's not about the blues, but the words are wrong. The ones I use to frame my thoughts is the reason why I cannot write my own song.
Wow.
So you don't get frustrated at yourself and twisted this and that and the other. But you have to step back, because we do it.
We do.
We do it on a regular basis.
We all the time. All the time.
You know, don't worry about it. I jotted something down and no, you jot it down, but you don't throw it away. Those are thoughts that's going to be added to whatever message you want to deliver.
Yeah. And the thing is, I like, you know, when I'm listening to poetry, I don't know about you, but sometimes I like just close my eyes and sort of take in the poem, and then I open my eyes, and there are different things that I want to point out, and there's you have some very beautiful lines here, and I love here the way you start the poem. You said, in the chocolate mocha latte cream moment. I mean, you know, you got me salivating here, you know, because it's just such a delicious thought.
Right.
You know, it's and it really goes into your spirit, because I think, again, where do we go from here? Well, what we do is we develop our mind, our body, and our spirit. And you say here that poetry comes alive. Yes, it does. It comes alive in the spoken word. That's why this is the place for spoken word. And we're poetically speaking. You know, we're speaking in our thoughts and our feelings. And I love here what you said here, writing my thoughts on a page where space seems empty. I mean, for a lot of people, a blank page is intimidating. They look at this blank page, and we say, you know, what can I put on this? This is nothing. You know, one of the things, and I've been writing for a long time, my brother, but it still amazes me. It still knocks me out that I can get a book from you. And this book here is a very beautiful book that you wrote. It's called We See Colors, The Organic Flavors of Life. And the poem that he read is from this particular book. But he started with a blank page. You know, that's scary. Because what are you going to put on this page? And the thing that I love about it is that you put something on a page, and I can read that page and get your thought. Now, that's a miracle to me.
And you know what's interesting, too? And I want to say this, and I'm saying this gently.
Yes.
And I'm saying
please.
this with respect.
Yes.
So there's no point intended, but it's a point for you to think about yourself.
That's right.
A blind person can see, and you'll say, That's crazy. You never heard a blind person fumble around anything or whatever. They get up, they do what they need to do, and they move forward.
That's right. That's
The
right.
sad part about it is that people who can see are blind. You can't see yourself. You can't see what's in front of you. You can't see what's on that blank page. But everything that you don't see is inside of you.
That's
because
right.
you didn't take it outside. You didn't take it outside of you and put it on that page. It doesn't matter if it's scribble or scrabble, whatever the case may be. That's where the editing and the formatting and everything else, because now you have to unravel that. It's just like a puzzle.
That's right.
You
That's
put
right.
pieces inside a puzzle. If it doesn't fit, you get rid of it. You
Yes.
change the word. You change something.
That's right.
But ultimately, when you finish that puzzle, when you finish that book, when you finish painting, your dreams and ideas come true, you'll say, and you'll sit back and smile and say, yeah, I did that.
I did that. I did that.
You know?
Yes.
But always remember, you may have done that, but you share with somebody else who's afraid to do that because you had to start someplace, just like you and I.
That's true.
We
That's
here.
true. Yeah.
We started with something. And actually, we started with nothing, who created something that ultimately led us to where we at today.
Right. It all starts with a blank page. And before we go into our next segment, I just want to stop just for a second and let you know that poem, House of Poetry, is from this book. And the name of this book is We See Colors, the Organic Flavors of Life. And before we go into the Poet Spotlight, and this evening we're going to feature Nikki Giovanni, who's on the wall back there. But brother, before I go into a discussion and the sharing of Nikki Giovanni, I want you to tell me and also tell the audience this title, We See Colors, the Organic Flavors of Life. Would you break that down for us? What made you come up with that? Because this is a beautiful title and this is a beautiful book.
Absolutely. And even as if you were listening and paying attention, and I don't say that, to insult you, but I'm saying listen to each word of expression. We see colors because all around us today, in this culture, in this day and time, there's more unnecessary hatred. And ask anyone, why do you hate me? Why do you dislike something you can't explain?
That's right.
But yet and still, all around you, life in itself is colors. No matter what you wear, how you wear, who you showcasing it for, it doesn't matter. We see colors.
That's right.
And in this, as we go on, matter of fact, I'd like to just read the one piece inside.
Please, yes.
And here just took piece of it. Colors are images, decor, and contour. We see colors, various flavors and rhinestones, and more. We see colors. Colors have no attitude. It only tells the story of you. Who sees colors through your eyes without understanding the meaning of the story, definition, or even how the rules apply? Everywhere you turn, think, look, colors make up all you do. So, what is it about me? Colors paint shades of life, from poetry, rhythm, rap, jazz, and R&B blues. We see colors. Colors is in what we're talking about. Colors in poetry. Colors is in music. No matter how you look at it, when you sit back and listen to the soft jazz or the blues or some R&B, whatever, you take in the lyrics, as you were saying earlier. You listen to the lyrics.
That's right.
The music will guide you, but listen to the music. That's the foundation. That's the core of who you are or who they were. Because it had not been for the lyrics, where would the blues come from? Had not been the pain and suffering, where would jazz and ultimately where would the painting come from? Where would poetry? They was doing it in tumultuous time during slavery that you cannot begin to imagine. So to understand all of this today, and as you look back on the with all the posts back here, go back in time, in history, whether it's from the day you were born in the 2000 till you go back since beginning of time, look at the history of those who came through tumultuous time to create something, because we are here because of them.
That's right. And again, we look at the board here, and these are our ancestors. These are our creative ancestors. And this time we come to a part in the program where we call the Poet Spotlight. Tonight in the Poet Spotlight is Nikki Giovanni, and she has just joined our ancestors because she passed at the age of 81 in this particular year. But I was first acquainted with Nikki Giovanni in her first book, which was published in 1968. And it was a self-published book. We're talking about self-publishing. She published a book herself. And the book was entitled Black Feeling, Black Talk. And she went on to establish herself as a much respected poet. And as a matter of fact, some years later, she wrote a book called Gemini. And that book was a finalist for the National Book Award. And again, she also published, she had a publishing company called Nick Tom, which is her name, and the name of her son was Thomas. And it was Nikki Giovanni who said this. She says here, "My dream was not to publish or even to be a writer. My dream was to discover something no one else had thought of. I guess that's why I'm a poet. We put things together in ways no one else does." And at age 16, she attended Fisk University. And again, and I was aware of her because in 1968, she actually taught at Livingston College, which is a part of Rutgers University. In later years, she worked at Virginia Tech. As a matter of fact, she retired in December of 2022. Before she passed, she had accumulated 31 honorary doctorate degrees. And also she was part of Oprah Winfrey's 25 Living Legends. And her final work, which will be coming out sometime in 2025, is entitled The Last Book. And it's, I guess, appropriate that it would be titled The Last Book because, again, that would be the last book that she's written. But, again, we have her body of work. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to just share a couple of her poems that we can, I'll read and we'll respond and we'll move on. But the first poem that I'd like to read is from this particular book. And this really, what I'm about to read is the title poem. The name of the book is Make It Rain, Poems and Prose, Nikki Giovanni. And this is the title poem of this particular collection. And it's entitled Make Me Rain. Make me rain. Turn me into a snowflake. Let me rest on your tongue. Make me a piece of ice so I can cool you. Let me be the cloud that embraces you, or the quilt that gets you dry. Snuggle close. Listen to me sing on the windowsill. Make me rain on you. That is Nikki Giovanni.
Wow.
Yeah. All you can say is wow, right?
You know, and that's it. And that's so important because she's expressing her thoughts, her feelings, her creativity. She sees something, her emotions. But she's on a journey. She's going down a pathway through the future.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, telling your story, no matter how you tell it. But be straight up. Know that somebody wants to receive it.
That's right.
And not express it where you're going to kill somebody. Because one thing you don't ever want to do is kill somebody else's spirit.
That's right.
You see?
That's right.
But always keep yours uplifted, and everyone around will always know something positive about you.
Yeah. And understand this, you know, I spent over 30 years in the classroom as a college English professor. And you want to be careful about what happens when people share their poetry or share their prose. You don't want to say, oh, that's bad or that's good. You want to understand what a writer had in mind.
Right.
You want to make sure that you don't kill the spirit. Because, you know, sometimes you can read a poem and it get a bad reception and you'll never write another poem. And we're not about that. On Poetically Speaking, this place for spoken word, we encourage you all to be poets, to be writers, to share your thoughts. And another poem I want to read from Nikki Giovanni is from the same book. And this poem, I think, really speaks to the heart of any poet. Because we work in solitude. We work in the quietness of our spirit. And this particular poem is actually dedicated to Marveline. And as I read this poem, I get the idea that maybe Marveline is no longer with us. And the name of the poem is Quiet. And it says here, and I read, quietly, you open a book to let the sun shine in. Quiet, you hum a song that you create to let yourself relax. Quietly, you shed a tear when you let a loved one go to heaven, quiet. Like bread rising or your grandmother sleeping, quietly. When you sew a quilt to keep warm, quiet. As the salt melts in the bathwater, quietly, quietly, quietly. When you know whatever else it is, you were loved. And again, I tell you, Ron, I always think about my grandmother. And I know, and she's proven time and time again, that she had unconditional love for me. Her love was not based on any of my accomplishments. Her love was based because I was a little Terry. I was a little prince, man, you know, and I cherish that. I cherish that, and I cherish the words here from Nikki Giovanni, especially in the poems that we read tonight, the poems that are included in this particular book, which is a very good book. As a matter of fact, this book was published in 2020. And again, this is from HarperCollins. But please, you know, if you want to read a good book by a good poet, this is what you want to read out. So before we go on, you want to maybe give a little commentary, then I'll go into the Music is Lit segment of our program.
Yeah, just in short. And as we've been sitting here expressing from our point of view, engaging you with the opportunity to showcase who you are, it's important to take in consideration, even right now, to sit back, take a moment to think about what you're thinking about, think about what you're feeling, because no matter what you're thinking, what you're feeling is your story. It's poetry. Everyone who has written a book has written because they experienced something, going through something.
That's right.
And even though we have fictions and novels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but it's still something that dwelled inside of them. The only one and the only book that's not on the shelf is the lost book.
That's right.
The lost book, because you never put it on paper.
That's right.
You never looked at it in a sense to say, who am I? When you look in the mirror, no matter where you go, your shadows and waters in the mirrors, a reflection is who you are. But do you take time to say, who am I? Wow. What is my reasons and purpose for being here? What did I write about? And as I read in the other piece that I have, you see, because the words was wrong. Your thoughts was wrong. You heard all these voices screaming at you. But when you looked around, you heard this marching band, but that marching band was inside your head, laughing at you. You mad at everybody else. When you leave home and you mad at everybody else who had nothing to do with you and what you're thinking and feeling. And that's unfortunate. But let's take all the negative and turn it to a positive. And that's what it's all about.
And again, you know, again, as we are going toward the end of the program, I mean, this has gone very quickly because we have so much to share with you. But so this part of the program is called Music is Lit. And that's short for Music is Literature. And in this type part of the program, what I do is I look at some music and I read the lyrics as poetry. And tonight, a very, very special poem and very special song. And this is another brother who has become an ancestor because he passed in this year. And I'm talking about Frankie Beverly. And the poem song that I like to read is entitled We Are One. And this is from Frankie Beverly. And the lyrics read, it says here, can't understand why we treat each other in this way, taking up time with the silly, silly games we play. We've got our love, and no matter how it's said or done, we are one. No matter what we do, we are one. Our love will see us through. We are one. And that's the way it is. We are one. Sometimes I feel that we try and make each other sad. I don't know why. The things we do, how we make each other feel so bad. We've got so much. We could all be having so much fun. We are one from the very start. We are one deep down in our heart. We are one. And that's the way it is. We are one. I can't understand why we treat each other this way, taking up time with the silly, silly games we play. We got our love, and no matter how it's said or done, we are one. We are one. You can't get away. We are one. We are one. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. We are one. We are one. And that's from Mr. Frankie Beverly with Maze. We are one, brother.
We are one. And Curtis Mayfield said, got to keep on pushing.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Some
yes,
way,
yes.
somehow.
That's right. And the thing is, this what's so interesting is about the whole concept of music as literature, music being lit, is that I know sometimes I like to just sit in a comfortable chair and listen to music with my eyes closed, because I don't know when it was, but in my youth, in my teenage years, I realized that music was more than music. Music was philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Music was feeling. And one of my favorite jazz artists, a gentleman named Horace Silver, and he did a lot of instrumental music, but then he started writing lyrics, and he had people singing a song. And this particular CD is called The United States of Mind by Horace Silver, and he features on one of these songs is a song called Peace, and it's a song that is sung by Andy Bay, who's from Newark. And I'd like to share this with you, and this is really a song that is close to my heart because, again, it is, some call it jazz. I call it soul music. And this is a song called Peace. It's written by Horace Silver and it's performed by Andy Bay. And this is the lyrics that I want to share with you. It says here, there's a place that I know where the sycamores grow and the daffodils come to have their fun, where the cares of the day seem to slowly fade away in the glow of the evening sun. Peace when the day is done. If I could go there real late, let my mind meditate on everything to be done. If I search deep inside, let my conscience be my guide. The answers are sure to come. Don't have to worry none. Life's sweet seed, when it grows, can wither and come undone. But that sweet-smelling thing will be blossoming next spring. With the kiss of the midday sun, living has just begun. When you find peace of mind, leave your worries behind. Don't say that it can't be done. With this new point of view, life's true meaning comes to you, and the freedom you seek is won. Peace for everyone, peace for everyone. And that's from Horace Silver, as performed by Andy Bay, and that's our Music is Lit segment.
Absolutely. And, just in short, because it's so true, as we've been expressing and entertaining you with our, journey from where we come from,
Yes,
and
yes.
giving you many who may not have heard a lot of these artists or musicians.
Yes.
But I want to say this in short.
Mm-hmm.
As many today may understand rap, which is excellent because it's poetry.
That's right.
You
That's
have to
what it
listen
is.
to
That's
the
what it
lyrics
is, yeah.
and don't get caught up in just the music itself.
That's right. That's
When
right.
you listen to soft jazz, just the instrument itself, go back and find out what the lyrics are.
That's right.
See, they're
That's
not
right.
just playing the instrument,
Mhm.
but they're telling you a story. When you go back and look that story up and read about it, you'll see just where poetry comes from. Their love story, there's romance, there's trauma, there's whatever, but they take you to the mountaintops.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to gaze across the landscape to see exactly the beauty of life, where the sun is shining, the moon walks through the midnight hours, where the star shines,
Mm-hmm.
but you never lost
Right.
until you decide to close the shades, lock down the doors,
That's right.
and hibernate in your own corner.
Yeah.
Because nobody can hear nor see you, and nobody's coming to look for you
That's right.
until, unfortunately, a disaster happens. And that's not what we want. We want to be in the spotlight. We want people to know who we are.
That's right. That's
we
right.
want to know who you are. So we're inviting you
Mm-hmm.
to step out. Come.
That's right.
Invite yourself
That's
here.
right. Come
Come.
into the
Be part
Poets
of.
Cafe.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's so interesting that you said that because it's so funny. We only have just a little short time to be together on this particular Sunday. We'll be back on Thursday, but it's so funny because as we talk, as we go through the program, and again we take time to really put this program together. We take time to speak to each other and try to get things going. And I know my brother, because he's so creative, now he's probably going to go home tonight and write a couple of poems, because what happens is that as you engage in this type of creativity, your mind opens up. And it's so funny. I'm going to share a little piece because we don't have that much time, but this is something I came up with as we talked about unity And I think, again, unity really grows in peace and the peace among brothers and sisters. And I broke this down, Ron, and I want to. I made it an acronym. An acronym is you take a word and you make it something bigger. And so this is an acronym for peace. And I just want to just share this with our audience and share this with you. And maybe we have a few minutes to speak on it. But I want to put this out because this was inspired from preparing for this program and reading that poem, song, Peace. And I say peace. Okay, I break it down. P-E-A-C-E, okay? The P is for passion. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that drives you? What makes you get up in the morning? Passion. E is for excellence. I don't care. Whatever I do, I strive for excellence. I don't always hit the mark, but I strive for that. A is for attitude. Attitude. You can't always determine what's going to happen to you, but you can determine your attitude. Okay, you lose your job. What is your attitude? You want to kill everybody? No. You go and get a new job. That's the attitude. C is for creativity. What we're doing here, what you do. Every time you have a new thought, it's creativity. And E is for expectation. I don't know about you, Ron, but I look forward to each day. There's things I have down the road. This program, we talked about this for a long, long time, but I had the expectation that it would happen. And guess what? It is here. And so when I say peace, for me, peace is passion, excellence, attitude, creativity, and expectation. That for me, that means peace. That's peace for me.
And there's a time and season. The time and season is not when you want something or when you're trying to rush something because, every time you rush something, it doesn't work. There's a crash or an accident. Now you're mad at the world.
That's right.
Well, the world didn't do anything to you. Yeah. It was that you decide not to have patience and to take your time to journey. A child doesn't come into this world. We didn't come into this world running.
No, we didn't.
We came into here, we looked around, we got a sense of something.
Right. Yeah.
And no matter how old you are, it's the exact same platform, exact same thing. Yeah. And I just want to say as an example, right quick, and this is my other book, Archaeological Cafe, where poetry comes alive, unearthing hidden treasure deep within you. So the question is, are you an archaeologist? Have you explored who you are? You see, too many want to showcase about what they think they are.
That's right.
But people around you know if you're real or you're fake.
Yeah.
And so those who are listening, I'm quite sure there's many, have somebody said to you, oh, you ain't real, you just fake. You don't know it, you don't know this and that. And now you walk away mad. Now you want to fight. But the question is, why are you fighting? Why are you mad? Take that negative, go home, look at it, read about it, and rewrite it to make it something positive as opposed to something negative. And then take it back to the person who says, you ain't about nothing.
Yeah.
You just showcasing.
Hey, that's something. And it's so funny because, again, we have to understand a lot of times, we've been called different things in this country.
Right.
But it's not so much what you call me is what I answer to.
That's right.
So, Ron, I want you to hold up your book, okay, because this is, he has 2 books. Okay, and again, you can Facebook him, and DM him, and find out how you can get a copy of either this book here or the other book that he has. And again, and we encourage you to be with us every Sunday and Thursday. And of course, I'm very active on Facebook. I do a daily blog on black music. It's called Soul Music Prescription. Song by song, album by album, where I actually I'll take an album and I'll go through each song and I'll write an essay on each one of those albums. And this week I'm looking at Sherelle, and I'm looking at her particular music. Or later in the week I'll be looking at Babyface and looking at his music and his album. And then I'm going to look at Alexander O'Neal. Because what happened is that that music of the 60s and 70s and 80s, it really made me the person that I am. I didn't realize that I was listening to these songs for philosophy. I didn't know that I was looking for them for direction. But before all these self-help programs and podcasts and whatnot, we heard our music. We heard our music, and we listened to the music, and we got that into our spirit, you know. And I think, again, I say, you know, with all honesty and being all authentic, that the soundtrack of my life was the music of the 60s, the 70s, and 80s. And for a lot of people, especially our younger audience, they may not know of these people, you know. But we're going to make sure, as a result of this program, that you will know someone like Frankie Beverly, and not just know Before I Let Go, which is one of his popular songs, you know, also recorded by Beyonce. But I really want you to listen to the music, but also listen to the lyrics, because that, for me, is the soul of the music, the soul of the expression. You know, as we go through our life, we have opportunity to develop true education. And true education, for me, is education that really relates to our mind, our body, and our spirit. If it doesn't help us to improve our mind, our body, and spirit, as far as I'm going to say, is sort of wasteful. So, my brother, we have about 5 minutes. Would you like to say anything in closing? Anything that's on your mind?
Yes, to piggyback off something you said, even when you was a child.
I'm still a child.
Little Terry. I like that one. You know, what's interesting, as we've been talking, we will continue to talk and bring to you about creativity, poetically speaking.
Yes.
A friend of mine lives in South Carolina, and another friend here in New Jersey, and you hear around you when you hear something, somebody express something, I think you should, and you say, no, not me. But the time and season ultimately will come. The question is, will you be ready? You see, here with this platform for me,
yes, please.
and Terry, we've been friends for a long time. We know each other,
right.
And he knows when he called me, I'm always in the moment.
That's
but
it.
The point is, everyone
He's right on time.
Everyone may not react in the moment, but you have to keep in mind the thought of always be ye ready, because you never know when you might be called upon. Right. And the sister used to say, well, Ron, you should have your own show. You should be on YouTube. And honestly, I thought about it, but I didn't know the procedures or steps. But here's an opportunity. Right. Not only that, it was here with Terry, and then the previous host, and then this radio station, the door of opportunity awaits everyone. It's just better. It's up to you to know which door you're knocking on.
That's true, and we have some people who have says they're looking at the program. Norman E. Bradley, he said, if you write poetry and would like to be a guest and display your poetry, let us know. Okay, and he is also the engineer and also the owner. Tiffany Barker says yes. Oh, I can't wait to tune in next week. The air was awesome. The lyrics were meaningful. Thank you, Tiffany Barker. You know, and again, we have Derek Skinner. Salute, Kings. Thank you, Derek. Taraka Gilbert. That's another name. Tasha Vaughn. Okay, B. Ruffin. Denise Sparrow. You know, these are people we need to know. C.E.K. King Parker. All these are people who are tuning in, and hopefully they're going to follow. And really, some of them may even come on this platform. Because, again, like I said, this is our program, but it is your program. We do this for you because we know that this type of a program is much needed. This is a time where I really... I tremble at the thought that they're going to attack the Department of Education, that they're going to ban books, that they're going to do things that would keep us from learning. But you know what? As long as you have a mind, you can read. You can go to the library. You can get books. You can buy books. You can do all this. And one of the things I think is that's going to help us, brother, I think it's going to save us as a black people, is to become critical thinkers. It's not what I say, it's not what he says, it's what you say coming from your own understanding. And so with that said, please come back. We will be here on Thursday from 6 to 7 and on Sunday from 5 to 6. Please, if you can't watch us live, watch us on YouTube. I always say that we're here live from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7, but we're on YouTube forever. And I hope that people will respond to the program, will like the program. And again, I really it's an open invitation. If you're a poet, if you're a spoken word artist, if you're a lyricist, we want you to come on the program. We have a seat for you. We have a place where you can come and come in the studio, be with us, share your creativity, and you see our format, you see how we roll. So how do you fit in? How do you fit in? And we say, get in where you fit in.
And we won't open the door unless you knock. If you knock, the door's open.
That's right.
No knock, no door open.
That's right. And so with that said, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for sharing your time with us. And we will see you on Thursday.
Thank you.